It's ESPN's national reporter and now analyst for the Giant Jet game on Sunday, which you'll hear right here on 97.3 ESPN. Mark Kestisher and Sal Paolantonio on the call of that game, and he is powered by Dunkin'. This season, the pregame starts at Dunkin'. DD Perks members score a $1 medium hot coffee, iced coffee on Eagle game days. Head to Dunkin' for your kick before kickoff on Eagle game days. And, of course, the Eagles do not have a game this week, but there's plenty of things to discuss here. Sal Paolantonio, it's a Sal Pal Friday. How are you?
I'm good, Mike.
Well, man, it's first off, we will be hearing you on the radio here on Sunday. You will be on the call along with Mark Kestisher doing the color analysis of the Giant Jet game. Now, this one should be interesting.
I'm super excited about it. It's a great opportunity. You know, I'm so blessed. I had such a great long career at ESPN, and I wanted to try something different, and they were up for it. They've had reporters in the booth before. Tim Kirchin does baseball. Tony Kornheiser did Monday Night Football. So it's not something totally unusual, but this is the first time they're ever putting a sideline reporter in the analyst role at an NFL game. So a lot riding on it, Mike. Screw it up.
I'm sure you'll be fine. Keshi's a true pro to throw it right over to you, and it's Giants Jets. The coverage starts at noon right here on 97.3 ESPN. Now, during an Eagle off week, it gets a little quiet sometimes, but there was a lot of noise about the wide receiver position and this whole Desean Jackson thing, Sal. So kind of take us through what you know about this whole Desean Jackson saga and how it ended the way it did.
Well, it's pretty clear from what Doug Pederson said, Mike, and I've talked to Doug privately about it, is that Desean Jackson just wasn't ready to do surgery. And they came to the conclusion as a team to try to get him to rehab and rest and heal over a number of weeks. And it just didn't respond. And then they felt like, his pain threshold was enough that he could go out there and try it on Sunday against the Bears, and he only lasted 4 snaps. In hindsight, hey, you got to have the surgery. Modern medicine these days, they can do wonders. And he should have had it. And then maybe they should have. But, you can't force somebody to have surgery, too, right?
No, you can't. And I guess that's one of the things, like the fans are out there, well, the medical staff's at fault, Deshaun's at fault. You had Pederson saying, well, he might be ready to play for the Patriots in the morning, and then by the afternoon he kind of walked that back. The next day he's having surgery. I mean, it's not a great look for the team, right?
Oh, of course not, because they invested a lot of money in Desean Jackson for this year and next year. And I'd be shocked if he was available this year.
Right. Now.
At all. Yeah, for now until the end of even the playoffs, if they make the playoffs.
So, Sal, is it as simple as they can't get to where they want to go without him, or do they reshuffle the deck and the goal remains the same?
Oh, the goal remains the same, for sure. He's a big loss, but they won 2 games, one in Buffalo and one against the Bears without him. They need to open up the field a lot more to get the double team off of Zach Ertz and now Dallas Goedert. And the guy to do that is Miles Sanders. I talked about that last week on your show, right? I said Miles Sanders is the answer. He's the speed guy. He's the open space potential player. And they need to be a lot more creative than they have been with him. And I'm hoping that Mike Groh and Doug Pederson have come up with some ways to get some reverses, some pitches, some sweeps, get him isolated on a linebacker in the slot, split him out wide. Josh McDaniels for years split James White out wide, and teams would respond with a linebacker, and he would beat them all the time. So I would try to look at what the Patriots have done, look at what Drew Brees has done with Alvin Kamara, and, just piggyback off of that. But Sanders is the answer right now. Jordan Matthews, maybe he'll be a little bit more reliable than Nelson Aguilar, but that's about it. He's not going to be your speed guy. But, you could see Jordan Matthews coming in. He and Carson Wentz are really good friends, very close. Pray at the same church in Cherry Hill. And, I anticipate Jordan Matthews will get a few touches against the Pats. for sure. But Sanders is the answer, 100%.
Sal, do you think that, and now Doug has played a lot of 12 personnel this year. It's a strength of the team to have Goddard and Ertz there. I still think that when you look at percentages, though, it's somewhere, 55, 45, 64. Do you think that he comes out of the bye week where he determines that the best thing right now with our wide receiver situation, I should be in 12 personnel a lot, even more so than I am right now?
I anticipate a lot of two-back, two tight end sets.
22.
Jeff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we've all thought that for a while, ever since that big run that Miles had with Jordan Howard lead blocking, we thought we'd seen that a little bit more too.
Yeah, and he doesn't necessarily have to be in the back field as an H-back. You can still have him on the field as two tight ends, two backs, one wide receiver. That's not a bad way to go.
Right.
I would also try to do a lot more six offensive linemen. Yeah, there's a lot of different ways to attack the Patriots' defense. Carson Wentz is not Lamar Jackson, so he is not going to take off and run as much as Lamar Jackson did. But in this game against the Pats, because they play so much man-to-man, Carson Wentz has got to be ready to run with the football.
I want to ask you
Slide,
also about
get out of bounds, but be ready to run with the football.
Do you think this offense in general, Sal, looking ahead over the next 7 games, do you think that they're capable of being kind of a dink and dunk type off? Obviously, they don't have Deshaun, so they will not have that explosive element. Can they do that and kind of rectify the issues they've had both catching the ball and turning the ball over in a lot of their bigger games? They've had a lot of turnovers. Can they be a ball control offense?
Well, they proved it in the fourth quarter of the last 2 games, Jeff. When they had to control the clock, they did. Long drives to finish out the game. That's a real strength, but that means you have the lead. So, yeah, I think what you're asking is ball control during the critical areas of the game where you don't necessarily have to bleed out the clock and you're playing fourth quarter offense.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the Minnesota and the Dallas game, they had that problem.
Yeah, and we'll find out for sure. Luckily, the defense is healthier, and, they got to steal one of these 2 wins, right?
Yep.
0-2 is a disaster. 2-0 is a total triumph. 1-1 is what we expect and need to see happen.
It's interesting you bring that up because 7 left, 4 at home. If they can get these 2 here, now you're really, in a spot where next thing you know, when we talk to you in 2 weeks, we're talking about possibly a team winning 10, 11 games if they can win these 2, right? I mean, it's amazing. And you asked Doug after the game about the ebb and flow of a season. And then the next thing you know, if you win these 2 home games, now you've won 4 in a row with a schedule down the stretch that really is favorable.
Mike, the bottom line is they turned the ball over 7 times against the Vikings and the Cowboys. On the road, can't happen, can't win that way. And they've cut down on the turnovers, cut down on the penalties.
Yep.
And you do that, you give yourself a chance to win. They turn the ball over against the Pats, they're going to lose.
Sal Paolantonio, you'll hear him this Sunday with Giants-Jets right here on 97.3 ESPN. Which of those young quarterbacks would you build around, Jones or Darnold?
Jones, 100%. Not even close. I think he has a stronger, more accurate arm. But I think the problems. Jones cannot recognize and react to blitz properly right now. Darnold is getting no protection.
Yeah.
That's another team that needs to load up on the box, six offensive linemen and run the ball. Shorten the field. Both of these teams have had problems pass protection. Big time. And, people say, well, there's a lot of jokes around this game, right? 1-7 versus 2-7, the Meadowlands mess, the Stupid Bowl instead of the Snoopy Bowl. These 2 teams are like Charlie Brown, where Lucy took the ball away, and the Snoopy Bowl, they're both getting the ball taken away from them. There's a lot of that going around, but this is no laughing matter for either one of these franchises. Jobs are on the line Coaching staffs are under the gun. Players' livelihood are involved. The organizations are embarrassed. And by the way, not good for the NFL to have both teams in the number one media market stink.
Yeah.
Ratings are down. And you guys both know, I don't have to tell you, you both know, you both have been up there a million times. Jeff, you're from up there. You know it's not cheap to go to MetLife Stadium. It ain't cheap.
Mm-hmm.
He blew your cover, Mosher. You're a North Jersey guy.
It's true.
Hey, Sal, my advice to you is this. Make sure your glasses are clean when you're up in the booth as opposed to down on the field.
Okay.
That's what I got for you. Because when you're doing the play-by-play in the color, the guys look a little further away. And if your eyesight's not where it needs to be, those jersey numbers don't look as clear. Make sure you have a good spotter, man.
I'll have a good spotter, and I hope I have a nice cup of hot tea.
Hey, Sal, enjoy the game. We'll listen to the broadcast right here on 97.3 ESPN. Thank you, man.
See you, Sal.
That's super. Thanks.
Sal Powell, like all guests, appear via the Boardwalk on the Hotline. He's brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. Eagles game day starts at Dunkin'. DD Perks members score a $1 medium hot or iced coffee on Eagle game days. So head to Dunkin' for your kick before kickoff. Eagle fans, run on Dunkin'.